Hey all, it's Marco from Random Door Media with the next video in my Rising World build play. In the last video, I had started on the harbor town where I made the dock master station and a small dock and a clock tower. Outfitted the dock with some decoration items like crates and barrels and so on. Before I started on the next building, I decided that I wanted to go back here and just add a few more trimmings. At this point, I realized the weather, it's getting dark out, so I had to change the weather, change the time, just so I could see better. I wanted to do a bit more updating on what I worked on before, so here I'm just expanding a bit more on the dock. Originally I thought that the higher dock would be a dock that bigger ships would come dock at, and then there'd be like a lower down docks for like smaller boats, like the rowboats. That's why I'm just building this smaller dock here. I realized I had the wrong wood set, so I decided to change it, get rid of some of my inventory, clear that out, and just match the logs that make the supports for the docks. So it's going to be kind of similar to the docks I did before, except this one's just going to be lower down. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for an actual ship. I don't know if I want to go through the time and trouble of making a ship that will be like next to the dock. If Rising World has a workshop on Steam, I'll check to see if other people have made a ship that I can just download a blueprint for. I'll look into that when the time comes. Here, because you need some way to get from the higher docks to the lower docks, I decided to put in some ladders. I think I just have one ladder here. I add another ladder later. And because the two docks don't quite line up, I decided to extend the lower dock just a little bit, just so if when people are going up and down, they have a place to step on. And more supports around the outside. And once again, I had the support logs, or support beams, go all the way down to the bottom of the water. Visually, it's not required, but since I'm taking the time anyways, I might as well. And just like the other dock, I do the rope railing. Just the flat rope cylinders around the edge. Make it look like there's a rope wrapped around each of the supports. And then I'll copy over the horizontal rope and attach it between them. It's pretty fortunate that the building system in Rising World is very user-friendly. Like the fact that you can have some blocks phase through other blocks makes it really easy. And I've been doing my best to make sure that I don't double up when I'm putting down blocks. Because I hate having to go back and keep changing things or taking away blocks. But at this point I realize, oh that's right, the rowboats aren't a single piece. They have to be built. And that means they have to be built on something solid. Like I can't just put the rowboat in the water. I'm like, oh yeah, could I build it at the bottom? And I thought, you know what? For now, I'm just going to build the rowboat here. Afterwards, I thought about it. I could just put some blocks down to the water level and put the rowboat on top of that and then take the blocks away, but I'll worry about that some other time. Here, I want to put a few more decorative items around. Well, they're not really decoration, they'd be like utility. Like, you know, these are like barrels and crates that are being unloaded from ships and boats. Scenic items, that's what I'm thinking of, not decorative. Like just adding more to the scenery. Now here, I decided that I didn't want the rope just dangling with nothing. At first I thought maybe I'll put a hook at the end and just leave it like that, but then I got more inventive. I thought, no, what if I actually have like a little elevator system like it should have? So I decided that there's going to be a wooden platform that's being held aloft by ropes, and that is what will get pulled up and down. But it's kind of difficult right now because it's finding it hard to judge where everything goes at this point. So I'm kind of like just eyeballing where the ropes would go. And instead of it just going down to a flat platform, I thought that the platform itself would have like some like vertical rails, not necessarily rails, but supports. Here I'm working on the platform itself. So I end up actually just doing all this just to get an idea of how it looks, and then sort of like redoing everything so it looks correctly. Because when you put this wooden rectangle, I realized, yeah, like nothing had lined up. I didn't do that good of a job of lining up all the four corners. But that's okay, I just use it as a guide. I'm just working out where the platform would go. So I figured, okay, once I get that in place, then I will reset everything. I'll take down the other the supports and the rope, and I'll reset them correctly. There we go. So now I'm replacing the supports in the proper corners, and then I'll take down the rope and I'll re-add the rope so that they attach to the support of the platform. And that way everything should look correctly. I thought afterwards I probably could have just made the platform first, like put it under the rope, like centralize it, just move the platform up into the air, then put the supports in the corner, then put the rope. I kind of did it backwards. But it all works out eventually anyways. I really like the rope texture. It's nice having something that actually looks like rope, as opposed to, let's say, a game like Minecraft where you have to sort of use fence posts or something like that if you want to make something that looks like rope. But in Rising World, there actually is a rope texture. There, and that's pretty much what I'm looking for. So it looks like it's a platform that would be used to raise crates and goods up and down. And I thought that couldn't just have the vertical supports in the corners, because then it wouldn't be very strong, like the corner piece would just collapse inwards with the weight. So of course I added a full frame for it for additional stability. Once again, the game itself doesn't have any stability, like you don't have to worry about things falling apart. But it's what would look correctly. And then I put some chests and some barrels in there. Now I wanted to do a few more touch-ups with this building here. I went with the medieval looking building that has the wooden frames and the plaster walls, but also I wanted to add in these small pieces that look like additional support. So I just got the same wood texture and just made them these small rectangular pieces, which I then make at an angle. Add in a few more vertical pieces. And I do that around the sides. Just to add more definition, more detail to the building. I figure it looks fine, so I'll get a few more of the slanted pieces, and I'll put those over on the backside as well. Rising World, with the construction system, you can get as detailed as you want. They're not finished with the dock master station yet. I decided as an additional piece of detail, I wanted to put in like a fireplace with a chimney. Something really straightforward, not gonna not gonna make it too detailed, like I'm not gonna bother putting a campfire on the inside. Not gonna make a hollow chimney, I'll just wanna make a basic looking fireplace that has a chimney. Whenever I build structures like this, I kind of think of it like a theme park. I sort of think like what if somebody was looking at my build and wandering around? So I'd like things to be detailed, but not like realistic detailed. A bit more work on the clock tower just to put in the door and the window that I didn't do the last session. And now I'm going to start on the next building. So since we already have a dockmaster and we've already talked about cargo and crates and barrels and chests, I thought that it'd be great to have a warehouse to put all that in. So it's close to the docks, it's right nearby. Oh, and of course, yeah, changed my mind, but this time I remember that I can take down blocks easily. For the warehouse, I wanted like the main floor, or like the bottom floor, the bottom part of it, to be made out of stone bricks. And then the second part of it, like the second upper half, was going to go back to the traditional looking wooden frame with the white plaster walls. And I put in these vertical supports like buttresses. And that's going to help support the second floor as well, because the second floor is going to jut out a bit from the main floor. There, and I copy over the same wooden blocks that I used in the Dockmaster building. So a lot of the buildings are going to have the same kind of motif, so it'll be the same kind of wood, the same white plaster look. I figured that the warehouse would have a bigger entryway, because maybe wagons might pull up to it, or you might have like carts that come in and out dropping off cargo. The entrance might look like it's off-center. That's because it is. I didn't want it to be like symmetrical. I didn't want it to be dead center. There isn't actually a second floor. There's a second upper half to the building, but there's no floor. Like, it's one big open building. There, that's where I'm making the frame for the upper section. And it will follow along pretty much the same style as the Dockmaster. I've already gotten suggestions on other buildings that somebody would like to see. Somebody suggested making a town hall and making an inn, so I'll probably start working on those next. I already have an idea for the town hall. Over to the side, you notice I've already created like an elevated section, so I want to make a town hall over there. And the inn will be in this section here, so the inn will be near the warehouse and the docks. Adding in the horizontal part of the frame. And I made the horizontal sections a little off-center on the sides, once again, just to give it a bit more detail. And just like the Dockmaster, I shrink the plaster walls down to half, so that way the frame like stands out more, gives it that more of a 3D effect. As I'm looking at this, I do realize that I'm still... A lot of my building skills still come from Minecraft. Like, I still tend to think in the way of, like, cubes, and building, like, simple structures out of cubes. I'm not in a hurry to try anything too fancy, like anything out of, like, cylinders or something like that. As I showed in my tips and tricks video, Rising World gives you the options to be incredibly detailed. Like, you can change the rotation to be incredibly small so that you can make incredibly detailed work. For builds like this that I'm just going to be making to make videos out of, I'm not going to get that detailed because it would be like too time consuming to fiddle around with things. That's why a lot of my builds are going to be pretty simplistic looking. But if you take a look at the Steam forum, and take a look at the discussions for Rising World, look at what other people have posted in their screenshots, there are some incredibly detailed builds out there. There are some very artistic people out there that use Rising World like a sculpture or like a canvas to make some incredible creations. Like, they use a Rising World to show off their creativity, which, yeah, it's pretty amazing. So this roof here is going to be similar to the Dockmaster. It's just going to be a simple peaked roof, and I'm going to use the same wooden shingles. I'm still looking at that island off in the distance. Eventually I want to get a lighthouse up on there. I'll probably do several buildings in the town first before I jump ahead to do that lighthouse. I probably have to experiment too with making a cylindrical building. Like, I probably don't want to make a lighthouse just out of cube. And the roof is almost done. With that single gap in the very middle, change the shingles back to a cube and fill that in. Since I've already got those made, I copy over the diagonal slats and copy those over into the warehouse. That way the warehouse follows a very, very similar pattern. So it's sundown again, so I changed it back to daytime, and you might have noticed that the floor in the warehouse is different as well. It's now these stone tiles. I guess I didn't bother recording that. But now I'm going to put a few things on the inside of the warehouse. So a few simple cabinets to start off with and some chests. If I wanted to get more detailed, then I'd put in like an upper floor, or at least like catwalks or something like that, so we can have like cargo that would be stored on upper shelves and so on. But I'm not going to go that detailed. It's more of the exterior of the building that's important. And I had trouble placing that chest here. It kept wanting to go into the floor for some reason. I liked the look of the cobblestone walkway. Like, we have the main cobblestone and then the cobblestone walkway that comes from the docks. I liked that, so I decided to delete the cobblestone leading up to the front of the warehouse, and I'll just add in the same cobblestones that are there already. So I just get rid of some of my inventory. I just copy that over, and then I realize, oh, whoops, right, it's sunken a bit. So I take that back out, recopy it, and copy the size of it there. So now it has that bit of a sunken look to it. And I just make the walkway go all the way up to the floor of the warehouse. And I just do a bit more work on the entryway, just to give it a bit more definition. And the next video, when I jump back in here, I might add like some double doors on there. And I remembered that I have a blueprint of a crate. So I added some more crates too. And stack a few just to give it a bit of variety. And I decided to make use of the other blueprints. Closing this area with the rope fencing that I made before, the one that's around the Dockmaster station. So I just make more of this rope fencing over here too. If you get enough of these blueprints, it starts feeling like you're playing with a level editor. Rotate that rope around, make it line up. So now we got a complete fencing to fence in the little clock tower area. And then that's it. That's it for this video. I'm just going to do a quick flyby to take a look at the new warehouse. If you like this video, check out the other videos that are on the channel. I have a whole Rising World series and other survival games and building games. That's going to be it for now. Take care, everyone.